class.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next contest scheduled for 8 rounds of boxing, and it's for the British Masters Light Welterweight Championship. Please welcome your first fighter to the blue corner, Lewis O'Mara.
Well, Lewis O'Mara fighting out of Portsmouth, 7 fights, 3 wins and 4 defeats, but he has not been matched easy. He's lost his last 2 against Kieran Bates and James Fryers, both of those fights in Northern Ireland. The wins coming against Dan Carr, Becky Boyo and Lewis Fielding. He's been busy since he turned pro and feels really that he has mixed in better company than Rakeem Noble. This for the British Masters bronze title at light welterweight, 8 3-minute rounds. And Lewis O'Mara, Danny, is a live opponent in there.
I'll tell you what, I've been sparring with this kid now in the preparation to the fight. He's not a bad fighter at all. He's gritty, comes to have a go, and like you said, he has been better company than Rakeem on paper. So, you know, he's a live opponent. He's probably Rakeem's second live opponent after Dave Leon. He's going to come to have a go. He's confident of winning. He's been talking of a good game in the gym, so I think we're in for a good fight here.
And please welcome his opponent to the red corner, Rakeem Noble.
Well, Rakeem Noble has brought some support, 6 fights and 6 wins, 2 by way of knockout. Trains down at Miguel's boxing gym in Brixton under Don Davis and John Sims. Davis, of course, very experienced trainer. Trained the likes of Howard Eastman, Errol Christie and Richard Williams. All Noble's fights have been here. His last was his first 6-rounder against Christian Donchev. Been in with Johnny Greaves, Christian Late. Other than those 2 really, with fellow young pros. This is his first 8-rounder. He picks it after 3 or 4 more fights. By about next September, he'll be ready to challenge for that Southern Area title, which, as you mentioned, Danny, is held by Joe Hughes. It's quite big talk, that, really, Darren. I'm interested to see how he goes.
Well, he's obviously not short of confidence. I mean, he looks the part walking to the ring here. You know, they're all learning fights. First 8 rounders, I remember turning pro. My debut was a 6-rounder. Going from 4 rounds to amateur, thinking, how am I going to do 6 rounds? You know, do 6 rounds, you move on to 8, the same thing. Oh, 8 rounds, how am I going to do 8 rounds? And again, until you've done them, it's in the bank then. You know, you've got that experience. So, you know, it's his first 8 rounder. So it's another big experience for him, and something that will, you know, be a huge experience for him in the future.
I know Rakeem as well from the amateurs. Known him since he was kids. One thing he's not short on is self-belief. You know, he's full of confidence. He's there to back him up. He trains like a demon in the gym. In the amateurs, he was known as one of them kids that used to upset everyone. He'd go up and box a Rose Hill, like go and beat a Repton kid, or go and beat an Earlsville kid. He was gritty and he was just always up for a fight.
He was never beaten a Repton fighter.
No, you know what I mean, but yeah, he'd always cause an upset. So, yeah, like I said, self-confidence is definitely not one of Rakeem's short
Professional record of 6 wins, opposite no defeats. He stands 5 feet 9 inches tall. He weighing at 9 stone, 13 pounds, 8 ounces. Fighting out of London, England, here is Rakeem Noble. And the national games are referee in charge is Martin Williams.
Well, Michael Ballinghall in Lewis O'Mara's corner. He was here for prize fighter last week as well, of course, with Floyd Moore. Trains fighters down on the south coast. Has got a good relationship with Steve Goodwin. Noble with the Jamaican and Nigerian flags on those shorts due to his parentage. As I said, trained by Don Davis. He's trained the likes of Howard Eastman, Errol Christie and Richard Williams, and he's actually been sparring Richard Williams in preparation for this fight. The Secret, the former Commonwealth light middleweight champion, still in very, very good shape. Noble told me when I spoke to him on the phone just a few days ago, so that's an interesting one. He's been sparring some active pros as well, and Isaac Chamberlain, Isaac Dogbo, Diego Burton, so he's well prepared for this.
Diego Burton, I've sparred with him. He's a big lump. He's tough man. So you know, it was a lot bigger than me. So
He's been around years, hasn't he, Diego?
yeah. I remember he sparred with me before the Gill fight, and he was on Ramadan. He couldn't even have water in between rounds. Griffin did about 10 rounds sparring.
Noble just doing a good job of turning O'Mara there. O'Mara tries to come in behind that left hand, boxing out of the southpaw stance.
Got a very low left hand. That's Noble.
Do you know
You've got to be careful.
As an amateur, he never used to box like that neither. He was a pressure fighter, Rakeem. He used to have a really tight guard, just come forward and move his head. But wherever he's at now, they've taught him a bit more about fluidity, and he looks a bit more fluid and elusive than what he used to be.
He looks far too easy to get hit here. I mean, his chin is right up in the air.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. I mean, he's got to be careful with a low lead hand like that, the chin up in the air. You know.
Yeah, definitely.
That's something, you know, if I was his trainer, I'd be telling him straight away, get your chin down and get your hands up.
Trying to make use of that reach as he pops out the left hand. O'Mara fights out of more of a crouch, is looking to try and get onto the inside here whenever he can get past that left hand. Lands a nice left hand there as well, which is just what you were talking about, Darren, really. Noble trying to work to the body.
I mean, he's good on his feet. He gets in and out of distance really well, but he just lets it down by having his chin up in the air and his hands down. I mean, I'd be tidying up on my defences first, I think, if I was him.
At least if you was going to have your chin in your hands down, you'd sort of tuck your chin into your shoulder, but
yeah.
He's not even doing that. It's wide up in the air.
O'Mara with a right to the body, no great weight on it. Noble looking to try and put some punches together, right followed by the left, right into the body.
On the flip side, if I was O'Mara, I'd put my chest on Noble's head and I'd just work away. I wouldn't give him any space. Noble obviously wants the room to work, so I wouldn't allow that. You know, I'd get right in his face and just work away. Where he's standing now, it's not where you want to be against a fighter like Noble.
Bell goes to the end of the first round, an interesting first round as well. There was that left hand from O'Mara as he just managed to get into the punching range that really, as Darren says, that he needs to be in. Noble at times trying to establish that jab, hasn't really done so with any great force.
Fighting a guy like Noble, you've got to take chances. Doesn't look like he's a massive puncher, and his chin's up in the air, like I say, so you've got to take some chances. I'd get right in his face and just let left and right hooks go, just in the hope that one would land.
That's exactly it, really. He's not a massive puncher, Rakeem Noble. That's exactly what he needs to do, is what Darren said. Tight hands, get your head on his chest and just let your hands go. So I mean, if you're not worried about what's coming back, then what have you got to lose?
Exactly. If you're standing out of range, slightly out of range, Noble will love that. He'll pick you to pieces. So, you know, O'Mara needs to get his chest, you know, literally his head on his chest and swing away with left and right hooks.
O'Mara for this fight has been sparring Floyd Moore, who is mentioned fought in prize fighter here last week. Gary Neal and Marley Lee as well. He's been up at the Lansbury at times, using that for training. George Jupp fights out of there. Del Granger, they'll be up later on for the Southern Area super featherweight title.
Also the King of Lansbury, Danny Connor. I'm trainer at all.
Well, Noble got through with a punch there. O'Mara runs steady on his feet as he staggered away to the far side of the ring. Seems to have recovered fairly well.
So I mean, he's gutsy, Louis. Like, in all his fights, I think he said he'd only been stopped once, and he didn't really agree with it. Obviously, all us fighters say that we don't agree with stoppages, but he's mixed in half decent company. So to be fair, if Rakeem stopped him, I'd be a bit surprised, to be honest. Because like I said, Rakeem is not another massive puncher. He's just quite sharp.
Well, O'Mara stopped in his last fight, so that was against Kieran Bates in the second. I was talking to Michael Ballingall about that actually, and he said that they felt the referee did jump in too quick. Catches the right hand there as he tries to move in onto the inside, and Noble in this round managing to keep him at range, managing to keep him really where he needs him to be.
I'd like Amaro to be more aggressive though, especially in his footwork. You know, just close that gap. He's standing where he's there. You know, they're terrible tactics against a guy like Noble. You've really got to close that gap. That's roll under the shots and come back with your left hooks and right hooks.
Noble trying to work to the body with the left hand. Lets a couple of punches go. Right hand as well. We are used to seeing fighters hold their hands low sometimes. Old gym mate of yours, Carl Froch, famously holds that left hand low, but he holds left and right pretty low, and you don't always see that.
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. Cole's always fought like that. I mean, going by what Danny said, when he was an amateur, he didn't used to fight like that, so it's dangerous. You know, it's dangerous when you. It doesn't matter who you're fighting. If you get caught by a so-called numb puncher, you can always be in trouble. So, you know, you talk of the likes of Carl Froch, he's always fought like that, and it's, you know, it's a style that's works well for him. Obviously, you know, it's one of the best fighters we've had out of the country. But a guy like Noble, if that's not his style of fighting, you know, it's dangerous because anyone, if you're caught, can knock you out.
I think people forget as well, Carl Froch's chin is actually made of metal. You can't hurt that guy. You know, obviously in the last fight I went with 1-4, he got chopped, but you look at the guys that Carl Froch has been in with, and his chin's tried and tested over and over, and it's very rare that you get something like that. You know, Darren Selling's right, Rakeem never used to box like that as an amateur. He was a pressure fighter, he used to have his hands nice and high. And Louis O'Mara, he's not exposing him for that, but at a higher level, he will get someone that will tag his chin and will expose that. You can't leave your chin out to dry.
I've just been reading Carl Froch's book actually, you feature in it fairly heavily, Darren, all very complimentary of course. So one thing that I really
He felt sorry for me, that's why.
One thing I picked up on, and it's kind of relevant to the fight almost, because Noble being trained by Don Davis, he used to train Howard Eastman. Obviously you were down at the Lennox Lewis Centre in the days with Eastman, yourself, Carl Froch, David Walker. It sounded like great days down there.
Yeah, it was, and I can honestly say that those sparring sessions, not just with Cole, but with the likes of Walker, Matthew Burwell, they shaped me as a professional. Also Howard Eastman. I mean, they were real tough. They were like fights. Every time I went to that Lennox Lewis Centre, they were, you know, I was learning, rubbing shoulders with great fighters, and that really helped me as a young pro starting out.
Well, funnily enough, I saw a few of them at the time that you were all down there 10 or so years ago. I was doing a little bit of training, and I'd always time my sessions to finish when you all started, so I can hang around at the end and watch the sparring, and it was fierce. I mean, Froch does say in his book as well that, particularly in the early days, he didn't really know how to spar in a way, didn't really know how to work, he just used to let those heavy hands go.
He was an absolute nightmare, I'm telling you. He seriously had problems. You know, he just want to rip your head off. And I went on the training camp just before he fought Pascal in Ireland, and I was sparring with him, and I just didn't fancy it at the time, so we went in the ring and we did 4 rounds. Well, we were supposed to do 8 rounds, but at the 4th round, I said to Tony, when it's going to be my last round, didn't tell Cole, and I just absolutely went hell for leather for 1 round. And I said, Carl, I've had enough, mate. He goes, you've Judas me there. Don't worry, the next time we sparred, he absolutely levered me for about 12 rounds.
When I was an amateur in Nottingham, I used to live in Nottingham, and we used to be in this gym, and I used to see Cole sparring all the time, and he'd spar with Ricardo Sams.
I remember Ricardo.
Yeah, and he used to spar with Fidel Castro Smith as well. And I'll tell you what, again, what he says, he was an animal, Carl Froch. You know, to be able to see them sort of spars as a young lad is unbelievable.
Amara's doing better now. Sorry, Dan. He's closing the gap a bit more. He's getting more involved. Which is what he's got to do. Look, close the gap. See, throw them big looping hooks. He just landed a couple there. That's what he's got to do. He's got to take some chances.
Well, they had Noble pinned back on the ropes just above us briefly. Punches weren't landing all that solidly, but they were getting through. He caught a couple there himself as he just fell in a little bit behind the left hand. That's a nice combination there from Noble. We need to see more of that from him. He's in excellent condition when you look at him in there. Tiny waist just tapers into wide shoulders, nice long reach as well. He certainly has some tools.
I was talking to him the other day, and he said that he thinks he could even make lightweight.
Well, at 5'9", he would have some serious height at that weight. Does he use that reach well enough for you? It's not just about the height, is it? It's the reach that comes with it, really.
He does. in occasions. I mean, he's not as snappy as I like him to be, though. He's not the quickest of fighters. You know, you usually see these sort of styles, guys who are really awkward with the hands low, but they have really quick hands. Noble hasn't got the quickest hands. But when he does, you know, when he's got Omar at distance, and he does pick the shots nicely. So he's lazy with the jab. You know, that's dangerous. He's lucky he's not fighting an orthodox. It's a lot harder to get over the jab if you're a southpaw like that. But if he was fighting an orthodox fighter with a lazy jab coming out like that, I'd be countering it straight over the top, straight right.
Noble really just chasing Omar around the ring at the end of the round. Majority of those punches from Noble thrown, not finding the target as we reach the end of the third round. This one scheduled for 8 for the British Masters bronze title at light welterweight. Good crowd in York Hall. There'll be plenty in attendance later on as well. Those 2 Southern area title fights. A lot of big ticket sellers on the bill. This is the final fight pass of the year, final matchroom show of the year tonight in association, of course, with Steve Goodwin. Don Davis is trying to give Noble some pointers in the corner.
Corners, 10 seconds. Second coach, round 4.
It's halfway through the competition, the fight now, and I think that Louis Omar, if he wants to nick something out of this, like Darren said, he needs to get his head on his chest now and start letting his hands go, and start nicking these rounds, because by my card, he's 4 rounds down at the moment.
Omara trying to get into the inside and Noble letting a few punches go. Omara dipping, managing to avoid all of those. Again, just works away with the 1-2 left and right.
Credit to Noble though, he has, you know, his footwork's been really well. So there's me saying Omara needs to, you know, close the gap. It's difficult when you've got a fight like Noble who moves so well on his feet.
Had 40 amateur bouts, 28 wins, won the divisionals in the senior novices and the ABAs. Lost to Georgie Keane in the London finals on one occasion. Caught back in the corner here as Omara lands a solid looking body shot.
See, Omara, he shouldn't have taken a step back there. He invited Noble to come forward or move away. He had him on the ropes there, exactly where he wants him. And you know, he should have kept him there.
And this is good stuff from Noble, good stuff, nice and busy. 10, 12 unanswered punches there, and Omara just throws those arms wide open, tries to invite him in for the fight, but he felt a couple of those. They were good, accurate punches as Noble was coming forward, and Omara really couldn't find too much room to manoeuvre.
Well, I think them punches there were more blinding than anything. He was just getting caught with so many. I think it just disorientated him a little bit. I don't think it was the power of the shots. I think it was just where he was getting hit from all angles there. He didn't know where he was, you know, that's why he started flailing his arms out like that. He's not hurt, but it's just, it don't look good from the outside neither to the judges.
Right hand almost made crisp contact as Omara was moving in. Again, a shake of the head from the Portsmouth man. Tough fighters from down there, down the years. He's the name, isn't he? Always comes to mind, Tony Oki.
Some good guys down there actually now. Joel McIntyre, he just lost for the Southern area, but he's one to watch for the future, like you said. Floyd Moore, I expect he's still up and going.
Good shot, good
right hand there from Noble, and he's having to hold on here, Omara. I think he really felt that one. He looks towards his corner, and I think he's in trouble here. The referee had a quick look in there. Noble looking to unload here, goes to the body, then goes straight with the right hand, catching with the left and then the right, and the referee has jumped in here to stop the fight. Omara looks towards his corner with disappointment, but Michael Ballingall shakes his head as well. I think he feels that that was the right decision. He got clipped with a good right hand. He looked a little bit unsteady and he was shipping punches here. Right call for you, Darren?
I think so. It was just unfortunate because Omara threw a shot right at the end there and it seemed to stagger Noble a little bit. If there was any reason why it shouldn't have been stopped, it might have been that, but you can't complain really. You know, the referee made a judgment. He threw that shot after he'd made the decision, so A good win though. Good win, like Dan said, it's another. He was a live opponent, and he's his first 8 rounds. Well, he hasn't done 8 rounds. First 8 rounds, won his first title there. So onwards and upwards.
And what do you see from Rakeem Noble? What kind of raw materials, raw ingredients do you see there that could really be worked on?
Well, for me, the positives, he's got a nice solid base. He moves well. He's got good footwork. But on top of that, I'd like to double up with my defence. I keep my hands up, move my head a bit more. He was far too easy to get caught. I mean, when O'Mara was in front of him, he found him quite easy to hit. When he was moving, it was a different matter. He just doesn't move his head enough, though. But look, there's definitely, he's doing something right. He's unbeaten, and he's won his first title there. So I'm sure he'll think he can go on, he can improve.
Well, the referee just about to call the 2 fighters to the centre of the ring. The glove's just coming off in a corner there for Louis O'Mara, who looks okay, just stood up on his feet, disappointed I'm sure, slight shake of the head. Rakeem Noble just posing for a few pictures. He certainly feels that it's onwards and upwards. He's got Joe Hughes, a Southern Area champion, in his sights. He feels in the next 8 or 9 months our MC Brett Freeman is almost ready for us. Michael Ballagall just taking his time, getting those gloves off. We'll see Louis O'Mara in the ring again fairly soon, I'm sure. And we're now ready for the announcement.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our referee Martin Williams calls it up for this contest. 2 minutes, 44 seconds in the 4th round. Declaring the fighter in blue unable to continue, which means your winner and new British Masters light welterweight champion, Rakeem Noble. And our championship bout tonight being presented by Lawrence Bennett, the Southern Area Cruiserweight champion.
Being tied around the waist, buckled around the waist, always a good feeling to get that first title. He'll be looking for bigger things, I'm sure. Rakeem Noble, as we said, he's not somebody who lacks self-confidence. He's not arrogant though. I had a good chat to him. Very likeable guy, Danny.
Yeah, he's a good kid, Rakeem. Like I said, he's a nice guy. He's been on Rose Hill for years. He still goes up there and trains now. And I know that'll mean a lot to him. His first title, he done well when he got someone out of there that's been in with some good names and hasn't been stopped, and he went in there and stopped him. Like Darren said, I'd like to see a few of his, leaving that chin up in the air. I'd like to see him shore up his defence a little bit more, because like you said, if he goes for Joe Hughes, that's a fight he'll have to leave for a while with boxing like that.
Well, he's coming down ringside now with Sophia.
Rakeem, congratulations on winning your first title, the British Masters title. Must feel good to have that belt around your waist.
Oh, it feels amazing. First professional title, and I won it in fantastic style. 4th round stoppage of a very tough kid. Yeah, man, this is what I work for. This is what I live for.
The third stoppage of your career as well. Did you preempt that? Did you preempt that? No, the third, I said.
Oh, third.
Yeah. Did you preempt that? Obviously, because it was the first time you were in for an 8-rounder.
I'm a long distance fighter. The more the fight goes on, the stronger I get, the weaker the opponent gets. So I knew as the fight went on, he'd deteriorate, I get stronger. So I had an idea I could be able to stop him if I was to put some shots together and hit him with a right hand, left hook.
2015 going to be exciting, more titles to come?
Oh, 2015 is going to be very exciting. This fight, like I've said before this fight, after this I would like to look at maybe a Southern Area in the next 8 to 12 months, get onto a full matchroom show, be on Sky Sports, but we're just going to have to see how it goes. I'm going to enjoy Christmas, and I'll get a big pizza and a Coca-Cola and enjoy myself, but I'll probably be back in the gym next week. I live the life, I never stop.
Well, enjoy the break and well done on the win.
Thank you very much.